This is what I want to say to you about the importance of being in this questioning space. It is the birthplace of the new version of who you are here to become. As I promised when I posted my last podcast with the 7 stages of legacy activation, I am dropping in today with just a YouTube video. I'll start a playlist for these particular videos because they're supplementary information to the 7 stages. If you don't have it yet, go ahead and download the free resource guide. The link will be in the description for this. And today, I just felt compelled to talk about the power of the questioning stage. Stage 1 of legacy activation is when you get to that point where you start to question things. And I sat down today, I made some notes about why it is so important for you, if you're in that stage, to acknowledge that and to acknowledge the power that comes with it. One of the resources that I talked about was this book, Start With Why, by Sinek. There's a lot of power in his book because part of what it does is it teaches us that we don't make decisions with our minds. We make decisions with our emotions, with our gut feelings, with our reactions, with everything that has brought us to the moment of the decision that we're making. And then we use our minds to give us rationale or backup data or information about why it's the quote-unquote right thing to do, when we actually know on an emotional level that it's the right thing to do. And you can't get to that powerful point of decision-making without asking the question first, whatever it is that you're asking. Because here's what I wrote in my own notes this morning, that questions are a way of opening a third way of being. And here's what I mean by that. So we walk through the world in a particular way, with a particular personality, with a particular sense of ourselves, with a particular way that we want the world to perceive us. And when that questioning period comes, as it does for anybody who is awakening to a higher consciousness level, then you have to be with the discomfort of sort of dropping out of the binary path that you've been walking thus far. That there's a third way, that it's not that things are going to either be like this or like that, which is how we tend to think about life. So take almost anything you can think of and say, oh, I think I know which way it's going to go. It's going to go this way or it's going to go that way. And if you have enough awareness to say, or it could go a completely different way that I don't even have any understanding of now, most of us just add that as an afterthought. But what that afterthought really is a powerful opening. It's a portal to a million billion different ways that things could turn out, or that your life could go, or that you could respond to a particular situation, or the decision that you can make. And it's when you're willing to step into that, oh, it could go a bunch of ways that I'm not even aware of yet. That's where the power of the question comes. Because if you're saying to yourself, I'm here for a bigger purpose, I don't know what that is. I want to explore that. I want to find out about that, because you're somebody who has either handled all of the levels of survival, you're highly resourced, which is the phrase I use for those people, or you're somebody who's just tired of living it the way that you've been living it and you're looking for another way. The question is like the genie in the bottle. It is like the portal. It is the third way. It is the, I don't know what's going to happen. So let me contemplate or concentrate or meditate about what might happen. And I mention concentration, contemplation, and meditation very specifically here because those are the three known methodologies for accessing the power of your consciousness. So if you're in the question and you're using one or more of those processes to activate what your consciousness, what your higher self might instruct you that you're here to do, then you've really, really found that place of power. And the difficulty comes when you have found that place of power and you don't know how to direct it. You don't have the resources to guide you to where you're going. And that's where my work comes in at the Gentle Mastery Method. That's one of the reasons why I'm talking about this, is because I'm very familiar with it. I'm very intimately familiar with that questioning space and that place of, I know there's something more, but I don't know what that is. I know that I feel it emotionally, like Simon Sinek says, and Start With Why. My brain doesn't have a construct I can use for how I can understand it and then activate it in my life. And that's important. I'm not going to downplay what the mental aspects of ourselves want to do, because we are here in this plane as material beings, working in a physical body, having emotions and having thoughts. And when we're understanding the connectedness between those three states of being that we're all always in, then we can really contemplate, or we can really concentrate, or we can really meditate on what this question is, because we're asking a higher consciousness version of ourselves to access more information so that we can be self-directed into the deeper meaning that we are here to embody. When you're in this space that I just described, you're connected physically, emotionally, and mentally, and you have clarity about how each of those states of your being are operating. When you have enough self-awareness to say, I feel what my body is feeling, I also feel what my emotions are going through or telling me, and I understand or know what my mind is telling me, that's the most powerful place you can be in for questioning, when you then adopt one of the three or one or more of the three pathways to higher consciousness. Those pathways, again, being concentration, contemplation, and meditation. Being in this space of, what about me do I need to know? What about me am I trying to awaken? Can feel a little bit like vanity. It can feel like it's all about you, like what you're doing is, and that can be uncomfortable, especially when it comes to seeking your conscious expansion. But this is the work that we're all here to do as humans. This is the work that, if you're watching this video, you know that you're being called to. And it isn't vanity. It is your specific pathway to unity, to the worldwide healing of humanity, which is the most unified thing that any of us can do, is to work for the greatest good of all. This is what I want to say to you about the importance of being in this questioning space. It is the birthplace of the new version of who you are here to become. If you want some help with that, I am your guide. You can apply to work with me at gentlemasterymethod.com. Thanks and peace.